Hi everyone, today I'll be showing you how to make this beautiful crochet bow. It's very simple, perfect for beginners. The written pattern with pictures is available in my Etsy store, link in description. To make this bow we will need some yarn. I'm using this slightly thick yarn that goes well with a 4mm hook. I'll also need some scissors and a darning needle. So once we have everything together, let's get started. So we're going to start off with the top part of the bow, so that's this section here. So to do that, we need to start off with a slip knot. If you're not sure how to do that, we'll grab our yarn, leaving a little bit of a tail, wrap it around our finger once. When we go the second time, we're going to cross at the back. See that cross? And then around again, holding that yarn. We'll go under the first one and then pick up the second one. Take your finger out and you have your slip knot. Don't make it too tight on your hook, but there we go, we're ready to start. Now we need to make our foundation chain for this pattern. Now to make a foundation chain, let's get our yarn in our hands ready to go. To make a foundation chain, we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop. And as you can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. Now I want you to continue going until you have 40 chains, and I'll see you then. Okay, so I'm all done with my 40 chains, all done. Now we're going to add 2 more chains to that, and that is because we're doing half double crochets. So this is my turning chain. So after 40 we'll go 41 and 42. Now we are going to go into 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into that third loop from the hook. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to make a half double crochet. So to half double crochet, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the top loop of the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and that is your first half double crochet. Let's do that again. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now I'll do that one more time for you here. Can we see? Yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up that loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And I would like you to do that all the way until the end of the chain, and I will see you when we get here. So now we have our 40 half double crochet in row number 1. Let's move on to row number 2. So for row number 2, we are going to chain 2 and turn our work. Okay, so now we're working on the other side. So we are going to go into this very first stitch here, okay, the one that's attached to your chain 2, and we're going to continue with half double crochets. So the same thing that we did for row number 1, we're going to do for row number 2. Yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. So let's do half double crochets all the way down and I will meet you at the end just to make sure we are going into the correct stitch at the end. Okay, so I'm just on stitch 38, 39 and 40. Done. 2 rows done. Let's have a look at row number 3. We are going to do exactly the same thing we did for row 2. Chain 2, turn, and 40 half double crochets all the way along. All the way. So we are going to do that until we have 6 rows. Okay, so we're going to go all the way across for number 3, chain 2, again number 4, chain 2, number 5, chain 2, number 6. Okay, so I will meet you back when you have all 6 rows completed. So I am just finishing off the last 2 stitches of row 6. Done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows done. Now, to fasten off, we are going to chain 1, and then we get our scissors, and we want a long tail for this, so let's see how long we'll get it. Probably about double the length of your piece here, and then we can just pull it out. You see? Done. Right, so let's work on this first piece. We are going to weave in this end. So the way how we can do that is to just weave it in, and then we'll move on to the next piece. So the next piece we'll be making will be these tails down here. So let's get started. Start as we started with the last one by making a slip knot. You don't have to make it how I make it, as long as you have a slip knot, it's fine. So to make the tails, we're going to start off by chaining 17. So we've done this before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17 chains. All done. And again, because we're doing half double crochet, we're going to add 2 more chains, and into that third chain we are going to half double crochet. Okay, so remembering it's yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. So I would like 7 half double crochets to the end, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so we have 17 half double crochet going across. Now for our next row, we're going to do something a little different. We'll still chain 2 as usual, turn, and we're going to start to increase at the beginning and the end. So to increase, we just do 2 of the same stitch in the same stitch. So half double crochet. That is 1 half double crochet in there, and then we'll do another one to give us an increase. Then we will go all the way down, and I will meet you when we have 1 stitch left. So don't go into the last one, I'll meet you just before we finish. Okay, so we've done our increase at the beginning here, 15 half double crochets, and in the very last one we're going to increase again, so 2 stitches in that last one, and now you can start to see the direction it's going in. Now we've completed row 2, let's start working on row 3. So we'll chain 2 and turn. Now we are going to increase again. 1, 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. Then we're going to do 17 half double crochets along. So let's do that, and I will meet you after we've done 17 half double crochets. So I've done my 17 half double crochets, and we should have 1 stitch remaining. In that stitch we're going to do another increase. So to increase we're going to put again 2 half double crochets into the same stitch. Done. And at the end of row 3 we should have 21 stitches. Now for row 4 we're going to repeat what we've done in rows 2 and 3. Chain 2, turn, 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, and then 19 half double crochets along until we have 1 stitch left. Here we are at the end of row 4, so we're going to put 2 half double crochets in the end right there. There we go, and that's row 4 done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Row 5, let's continue with our same pattern. Chain 2, turn, 2 half double crochets in that very first stitch to make your increase, and then we're going to do 21 half double crochets all the way to the end, and we should have 1 stitch remaining once we get to the end. Okay, end of row 5, let's increase again. 1, 2 stitches in that very last stitch. So we can start to see what has happened by increasing. We're starting to create the shape for the tails. Let's do row 6. Chain 2, turn our work, increase in that very first stitch, and let's half double crochet all the way to the end. And here we are, our final stitch of row 6. 2 half double crochets in there. There we go, all done. So that's our tails done. Let's fasten off. Chain 1, grab your scissors and cut a tail long enough to weave in. Oops. So for this one we're actually going to weave in both ends with our darning needle. And let's move on to the final part of this bow pattern. The last part we need to make is this band going through the middle. So let's get started. Grab your yarn, and again we'll start off with a slip knot. And let's chain 8. 8 plus 2, 1, 2, and into the third chain we're going to half double crochet. And then let's do a half double crochet all the way to the end. Okay, that is row 1 done. We should have 8 half double crochets. For row 2 we're going to chain 2, turn our work, and then make 8 half double crochets from that very first stitch all the way to the end. And 8. So that's 2 rows done. 2 rows of 8 half double crochet, sorry. I would like you to do that one more time and I'll meet you when we're finished. So there we go, 1, 2, 3 rows of half double crochets. Let's fasten off, and we're going to leave a nice long tail so that we can sew this. And we can just pull that out, and we're only going to weave in this tiny end here. So we should have 3 pieces just like this: our main body, our tails, and the middle. So first of all we're going to work on our main body part here. So let's remove these ones, grab our rectangle, and what we're going to do is fold it in half, just like that. Fold it in half, grab our yarn, okay. What we're going to do is simply sew these 2 sides together. Okay, so we have our big rectangle here, our needle, and we're folding over, and let's go through, and I'll show you how I do it. There's lots of different ways we can do this, as long as it is secure. Once we've sewn our sides together, let's hide this piece of yarn through here. So we can just weave it in. It doesn't really matter because this is on the inside, so no one's going to see this. Just pick up those front loops. There we go. And I will chop that off. Right, we want to keep this piece of yarn, and you'll see why shortly. So let's turn this around, so now it's nice and sewn together. Lovely. What we need to do now with the extra piece of yarn, let's place it underneath, halfway. Do your best to get it halfway, and we are going to just tie in the middle, and straight away we can start to see that bow shape forming. So we'll go this way, And then I like to turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. Nice and tight. And then we can make a knot. One and two. Don't worry too much right now about making this secure. There we go. So we have our body of the bow complete. Okay, so we've got this part complete. Now we're going to add our tails. Now for our tail, we're going to do something similar to what we did with the bow, which is get a piece of scrap yarn, and we are going to grab it and try to get it halfway at the top and the bottom, and we are going to tie just like that. And you can adjust. If you think you need to adjust, you can pull it across, tie, turn it over, tie again, turn it over, make sure we're happy. I'm quite happy with that. And then now I will do a double knot before I cut the yarn. So snip and snip. So now we have our tails and our body. Let's attach these two, shall we? So we're going to grab our body and our tails and hold it just like this. Okay? Let's grab one of the tails from our body, bring it forwards, and one of the tails from the back, bring it round the back, and we're just going to tie them together. Now if you don't have a long enough tail on your body, just use a scrap piece of yarn. And for this part, we really have to think about how we're tying these. So we'll do the same thing we've done before. Tie at the front, tie at the back. But when I turn around, I'm going to do some adjusting. Right, so we want these tails to come down just like this one. So let's just pull these tails down a little bit before we secure any more. Let's tie that a little bit tighter, and then at the front we can do a double knot. So we can definitely start to see the bow forming now. So let's cut these ones off, and now we have our bow. The only thing missing is our middle piece, and this is just going to make everything look much neater. So thread your middle piece through your needle. So to attach this, we're going to just hold it over the middle just like this. And all I am doing is matching up to the other side. So the first one can be a bit tricky, but once we get that first one in, just the other side of our middle piece. Once we get that and we pull it nice and tight, it's much more secure. Okay, so we need to go through, and I'll go through back on this side and up, pull tight again, and then we want to find the top of our middle piece here and go through that one. Okay, and keep pulling tight every time, and then we can turn to the front and adjust. So let's go back through the same side we came out of, pull that nice and tight. Come up through the other side of our middle piece, nice and tight, and then the last one, pulling tight, and we're going to go through. It's quite tricky to see, but just make sure we're going through our middle piece, that very last stitch, and pull tight. Now everything looks a little bit squished right now, so we need to do some maneuvering. And once we've done that, and we pull our tails down a little bit, we have a look at how it's sitting, how is the middle sitting. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to pull a little bit tighter and just go through the back here. Just one time through the back, just like that. And now I'm going to show you how you can attach this bow to a hair tie. If you want to, you can cut it off now and you have a bow and you can do whatever you want to it. But I am going to show you how I use it to make a hair tie. As you can see, I'm slightly adjusting a little bit. I don't think it's as even as it could be, but that's fine. There we go. You've made it. You can make it however you want it to be. So I have my hair tie. My needle is still threaded from when we did the middle. The hair tie is just going to go through just like that. Okay? And all I am going to do is go back through this middle piece. And straight away my hair tie is secured. So we'll do that a few more times, just making sure we're going through inside our hair tie and back out. Trying to keep the stitches roughly the same. And we can just keep going through. As you can see, mine isn't exact. You really just want to make sure that it is secure. There we go. So do this 5 or 6 times just to make sure that it really is secure in there. Ooh, there we go, and I think I will do one more for luck. Put it up. Great, so that's secure. Okay, we have a nice secure headband. Now to hide this tail, I'm going to just be sneaky and just push it underneath some of these stitches at the back. Just push it through. And then I'll make a knot around. Pull off my yarn. I'll make a knot here. And this hairband is secured. So there you have it, your bow headband. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.